He who has why to live can bear almost anyhow. And this is one of the quote not by Viktor E. Frankl but by Nietzsche. But it was one of the most quoted things said in Man's Search for Meaning, which I'm going to discuss today, not in a very detailed manner, but what were my learnings, what were my observations from this. Now, why did I took this book to read? This is one of the major mental conditions which every human, every like literally every person ask in their mind. What is the meaning of their life? What is the meaning of their career or the work they are doing? We are so bound to search for this meaning in our life that we jump on from one thing to the other thing. Now, this book doesn't have so much magical thing to do that after reading the book you will get some kind of meaning. No, but it is a way of how Viktor E. Frankl combines everything, his life stories, his experiences, and he gives an idea how like we hold on to different kinds of meaning, and that meaning helps us move forward in this life. So there are many quotes which Viktor E. Frankl shared. I'll not tell everything right now, but I'll try my best to combine and summarize everything and give it to you. So now this story is basically the journey of Viktor E. Frankl, but majorly it is divided into different phases. The different phases of the survivors or the people who are living in the concentration camp. The moment like when the person just enters the concentration camp, having no idea where is he going, will what is going to happen with him. Something like which that person wouldn't have experience, never have experience, and that person is has now bunked up in a train with many other people, thousands of other people, hundreds of other people, and now they have entered as a prisoner, and they have no idea what is going to happen in the upcoming days. Why are they taking, what is their aim, what will be my aim? And once anyone, whether it's a kid, whether it's a women or men or any aged person, enters a prison camp, they won't have access to anything which he used to have before. They won't have their families, they won't have their friends, they won't have that reputation which they live or which they earn for the whole life. They won't have the degrees, or they don't have the research they're working on, the clothes, the hairs, I mean, even the brows. Nothing. They won't have their families. They won't even know whether their family members are alive or not, or whether they would be alive or not, or what kind of facilities they'll get. It was like nothing with them once they enter the prison camp. And in the midst of all these things, where they are just left with pure body, pure mind, and just their thoughts, plus the horribleness of the prison camps where they are working continuously for days, they get into a little bit crisis or a doubt what is going to happen. They get anxious, they get clueless what is going to happen. And imagine, it's not just 1 day or 2 day, it is now going to continue for months and for years, and you won't know when you will survive. You won't know when whether we'll live to reach freedom or not, or whether we'll die just like this. Like imagine, we'll any human has three kinds of things which a human holds on to for getting the meaning. First is their family. Second is they want to get so much money and so much reputation from the society. Third is the food they are eating. They want to earn food. They want to live a better life. They want to live a good life. Now, when all these things are snatched away from you, your family, the food, and even you don't know when you are going to survive the next day, what kind of meaning any human would imagine? Viktor E. Frankl also mentioned some of the stories of the inmates that he used to live with, some of the inmates that have died in front of him. So there was one of the story he mentioned, and it was like when no meaning was left, one of his close friends was being holding on to the idea that okay, this particular day I think we'll get the freedom, we'll get to see our families, we'll get to go out of this prison camp. But reality hit hard for him when he reached that date, and when the reality hits that no, there is not going to be any kind of freedom very soon, and he will basically die. So imagine, if you are working so hard just to find that okay, one day something would happen to me, and just you realize that that day is never going to happen. I don't know when that day will happen. Your mind loses the meaning, your body loses that power, or that immunity that you will have. Imagine a patient, the patient doesn't know he has cancer, but once you say okay, you are uh, you are having this kind of disease, mentally our mind changes, and because our mind changes from the perspective that okay, I have a very dangerous disease, everything shatters. This is how, like, how sync mind and body is. If mind is not having this kind of meaning to hold on to, it would just shatter everything that comes even beyond the body. And one of the most important thing we can realize from this book is Victor says that we don't have this freedom to change anything from the outside. Outer influences can be as harsh as it can, and we don't have this ability that we can change the outer circumstances. But there is, if let's say everything is snatched away from us, our freedom, our anything, our clothes, our decisions, our families, or families, friends, our career, everything can be snatched. The one thing which no one can snatch from us is the freedom to choose. The freedom to choose how to react to that situation, freedom to choose how our attitude should be towards the situation. And here comes the part where I want to share different kinds of quotes which I loved from this book. Now, the first quote is very relatable to the story that I shared. He said that you cannot control what happens in your life, but you can always control what you feel and do what happens to you. So this is a very powerful quote, and when we as humans come in a situation where we have to face so many conflicts, so much pain, so many rejections, and when we feel like there is so much of midlife crisis within us and we don't have any meaning of life, and when we feel that I don't think I can control the life, at that moment we have to realize no, we can't control the life, but only thing which we can control is us. How do we feel about different things? Imagine, like, we face this every day when we went to our first job thinking that we'll do it. We'll do so many things, and I think we'll get appreciated. We'll get promoted within a year or so. And what happens when you get a very harsh team, a harsh manager, and you are not, you lose the hope that you'll not get promoted as soon as possible? Or whether, let's say, when you dared yourself, okay, I'll say the speech, I'll sing in front of the public, I'll express my talent or express my thoughts to the public, and what if they gave a very harsh comments? um, in that case, we lose the meaning of life again. And here Viktor Frankl says the man whose self-esteem has always depended on the respects of others is emotionally destroyed. So do you understand how we are so attached to this idea that we need appreciation from the others? What if no one ever appreciated us again? Would we stop living for that? I don't think so. We should stop living for the thing that society is not validating us. And one of the amazing thing which Victor expressed through his story was how we are so much driven mentally through our thoughts. When we say, okay, I don't have strength to lift weights, but there were times that Viktor Frankl said they haven't brushed their teeth for I don't know how long, for a year or for months, and in spite of that, there comes who are way healthier than before. We see that we are physically, when we see that physically our body have some limitations, but those are just limitations. When we actually slowly practice or come up out of comfort zone from anything, our body builds up. But if we are not built up here, then I don't think we would be ever able to go beyond our bodily limitations. And this is where he said that the experiences of camp show that the man does have a choice of action. There were enough examples of an heroic nature which prove that apathy could be overcome and irritability suppressed. Now we talk about so much what is the meaning of life, what is the meaning of this. Uh, it came to the mind of Victor as well, and there he realized, is it, if there is a meaning in life, there should be a meaning in suffering as well. So Victor have few of the things which he shared, that what was his meaning of life when he was a prisoner. So first was his love for his wife. It kept him alive. The mental image of his wife that gave him more strength to live and experience the love so much internally that he worked every day, he challenged himself every day, and he found the meaning. Another was his unfinished work, his book and research that he was doing before coming to the camp. And Frankel said that he had been developing his psychological theory, which was also called logotherapy, and it is mentioned in the book in the end a lot of times. So he was researching about it, and he wanted to survive so that he could finish his work and bring it to the world. So it gave him a sense of responsibility that I need to do something for everyone, and I need to survive for it. Another thing was he was finding meaning into the suffering. He came to believe that even in unavoidable circumstances, in unavoidable and extreme suffering, one can find meaning and can face courage, dignity, and sense of higher purpose in those times. And this, I think, is the heart of logotherapy, which he was working on. He said that humans are driven by the will to meaning and more than by pleasure or power. So, and he often used to quote Nietzsche, which I said that he who has why to live can bear almost anyhow. So, for him, his why was already there. So, he was able to do the what or how he could do. So, the core meaning of this book was to choose how did you act in that situation, what was your attitude in that particular suffering. And major learnings, I would say, one is meaning is way more important than happiness. If we have the meaning, we have a responsibility, we have everything because of this meaning. And suffering has a purpose. When we see that, oh my god, we are suffering from a lot, I don't think we have any meaning, that is very wrong, because every suffering provides an opportunity to grow, provides an opportunity to open a different door in our life. And the three main sources of meaning which we can look, where we can find meaning is, one is in whatever work or the creativeness we can provide to the society, provide to this world, majorly in your career, in your arts, in your skills. You can find meaning in love, in relationships. You can find meaning in the attitude towards the suffering. And life keeps us asking questions, and instead of asking what is the meaning of life, Frankel actually flips the question and says that life asks us what meaning we will give it, and our responsibility is to answer through our choices and actions.